you heard of the man who split the atom? Well, he did not break the atom literally, but proved that an atom is not the smallest particle of matter. I'm talking about Sir J.J. Thomson. During Thomson's time, it was known that atoms are neutral. Thomson added to this knowledge by proving that all atoms contain negatively charged particles called corpuscles, a term that was later changed to electrons. He also inferred from his studies that the size of an electron is negligible when compared to an atom. Moreover, Thomson found that properties of all electrons are the same, irrespective of the material they belong to. With all this information at hand, the challenge for Thomson was to visualize the structure of the atom. You already know that an atom is so small that even the most powerful tool cannot give us a peek inside it. So, what do you think Thomson did? Well, he knew that electrons are negatively charged and are present within an atom. But hey, an atom is neutral. So, how can the negative charges be balanced? There has to be an equal number of positive charges to balance these negative charges. So, Thomson reasoned that an atom contains an equal number of positive and negative charges, because of which the atom is neutral. Thomson was aware about positively charged rays because Goldstein had proved their existence back in 1886. But it was still not known what these rays were made of. So Thomson simply imagined the positive charges in an atom as a cloud. Since the electrons are very negligible in size, Thomson reasoned that most of the mass of the atom is contributed by the positive charges only. As the positive charges are spread uniformly as a cloud, Thomson concluded that most of the mass of the atom is uniformly distributed throughout the atom. Summarizing his observations, Thomson stated that the atom consists of negatively charged electrons embedded in a positively charged soup or cloud in which electrons are suspended. This model of the atom is called Thomson's atomic model. Thomson carried out a detailed analysis to come up with this arrangement, and it was accepted by a majority of the scientific community at that time. Many scientists called it the plum pudding model because it reminded them of plum puddings which were popular in England. The plums represent electrons and the pudding represents the positive charges. This model of the atom, although extremely simple, is one of the major breakthroughs in scientific history. Prior to this, no concrete representation of an atom even existed. So let's applaud Thomson for this delicious pudding model. This brings us to the postulates of Thomson's atomic model. Firstly, an atom consists of a positively charged cloud with electrons embedded in it. Secondly, the negative and positive charges are equal in magnitude. So, the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. Lastly, the mass of an atom is distributed uniformly throughout it. Great. But do you think this model is perfect in itself? Not really. Like all good things, this model also had certain flaws. For instance, Thomson could not properly define what the positively charged part of the atom really contained. He also did not clearly explain whether the electrons in the positively charged sphere are fixed or move about randomly. I'm sure such doubts must be troubling you too. But there was someone who had the answers to them. Do you want to know who? We'll learn more about him shortly. But before that, here's a quick recap. Thomson discovered negatively charged particles and called them corpuscles. These were later renamed electrons. Thomson proposed the plum pudding model, also called Thomson's atomic model. Postulates of Thomson's atomic model are: An atom consists of a positively charged sphere with electrons embedded in it. The negative and positive charges are equal in magnitude and the atom as a whole is electrically neutral. The mass of an atom is distributed uniformly throughout it. The drawbacks of this model are: it could not properly define what the positively charged part of the atom really contained. It did not clearly explain whether the electrons in the positively charged sphere are fixed or they are moving about randomly. That's all about Thomson. We'll meet again to see how another great scientist took us a step further in